Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Into the Abyss. And it is at a special time with a special theme. This week, it's just me. It's a holiday week here in the US, which most of you know, in case you don't. And so my co-host Grav is doing the family thing, but they're doing the family thing very socially aware. I believe masks and everything is on the agenda. So I figured, some people aren't celebrating the holidays and some people aren't in the US. So for those not in the US, hi, it's Saturday. And because of that, my guest isn't even from the US. My guest this week is a professional mermaid from, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, so please correct me when I pull you in, from Doncaster, England, Sophie Wright.
Hello.
Hello. Did I get the name of the town right?
Yeah, Doncaster. Yeah, nailed it.
Okay, I'm so bad with that, and like we were talking about behind the scenes, I am an Anglophile, which made me laugh that you didn't know what that was. And so for those who don't, an Anglophile is somebody who does not live in the UK, who is obsessed with the UK. I've been obsessed with the UK since I was 4, and my dad turned me on to Monty Python, and the rest is history. And then you and I believe we met in one of the travel groups on Facebook. Is that right? Okay. Yeah. And I saw that you were a professional mermaid, and I went, that's the coolest thing I ever fucking heard, and I have to talk to her. So how the hell do you become a professional mermaid, number one? Number two, how do you become a professional mermaid in England, number two? But before, and I know you have answers to that readily, but before I get to that, I want to ask you a question before I forget. Did you find the pigs?
The pigs?
On your Facebook.
Oh, they weren't my pigs. I just had them because they escaped quite near my house. But yeah, the pigs were found, so it's all good.
Okay, so then you can go back into you. I was really worried about the pigs.
No, they escaped from a lorry at some traffic lights and it just ran.
Okay, lorry. You have to explain what a lorry is to Americans.
Oh, a truck?
Yes. Yeah. See,
okay, yeah, a truck.
It is weird that we both speak English.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't understand each other. And we'll talk more about that later. But please tell me, how the hell do you become a professional mermaid and a professional mermaid in England? Because I can't imagine you get to practice in the Thames.
No, the sea here is a little bit cold. So I started being a mermaid about, it was 2015, so 5 years ago now. My parents actually got me a mermaid tail for my birthday as a joke because I'm obsessed with swimming and I'm obsessed with Disney and being a princess. And then, so they found mermaid tails online and got me this mermaid tail. Thought it was hilarious. And then I just realized that no one in the UK was doing this for like kids, like letting kids become mermaids as well. So there was one company down south that were already doing it, but they were only doing it for adults. So I set up, because I'm a swimming teacher as well, I set up doing mermaid swimming lessons where kids could come to a pool, learn how to swim in a mermaid tail and swim with me as a mermaid. And I would sing and do all that. And then I moved to Mallorca in Spain and did 2 summers there, being a mermaid and singing in hotels and doing mermaid lessons. And yeah, just living the dream.
That is like the coolest thing I have ever heard in my life. So I know this is going to be a dumb question, but it's Into the Abyss, so all of our questions are dumb. Do you do this, or did you do this thing as a kid that I still do? Did you used to, when you're watching a movie, when they go underwater, did you hold your breath to see if you could do it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I still do that now. Like if someone's supposed to be drowning, I'm like, yeah, they'd be dead by now.
Yeah, or no, not when they're supposed to be drowning, but when they're supposed to be escaping.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, when they hold their breath, I do the same thing. And then I see if I can hold my breath. But here's the thing, I'm old and I'm a smoker. So I don't know if I'm the right gauge for that.
Yeah, maybe not.
I was going to ask you, do you have to learn how to hold your breath and for long periods of time? And how do you do that?
So with what I do, because I mostly do swimming pool performances, I don't have to do like the free diving stuff. I've learned a little bit of it. When I was in Thailand, I met some free divers there who gave me like a free lesson to help me. But mostly the mermaids who do like the tanks, and you'll see like Wiki Waki in America, they know proper free diving techniques, and they can stay down for like 4 minutes, and it's insane. But yeah, I can hold my breath for about a minute and a bit, but I don't really. It's quite hard in a tail that weighs 20 kilos.
Okay, that was my next question. How the hell much does that thing weigh? Because I want to say Most Expensivest. Have you ever seen that show?
No.
Okay, Most Expensivest. It's with rapper 2 Chainz. And I don't know shit about rap, so I apologize to anyone who, if I seem like I'm an idiot because I don't know who he is, but my husband does. Anyway, he does this show where he like will go and show you the most expensive whatever.
Yeah.
And he did one with mermaids.
Oh, okay.
And they had it was a whole mermaid troupe. And they had these tails that were like 10 grand a pop to start.
Yeah.
So is your tail that expensive?
So I've got lucky with my tails. I've had one, the gold one that was on the photo at the beginning. That one was secondhand, and I paid about just under £1,000 for that. Secondhand. Okay. And then my second tail, which was made by a tail maker who was just starting out. So she only charged me, she's an American lady who charged me $600, I think it was.
Okay.
So, but I got very lucky. Most fabric tails that are good start from about $300. Silicone start from 3,000 upwards.
Holy crap. So I don't even understand the difference. Is it a difference in how it feels, how it moves? I would assume, I know nothing.
Yeah, so a fabric tail is made of like swimming costume material, and you can get them in varying degrees of like how realistic and how professional they look. So like I have ones that the kids swim in that are just like your standard mermaid tail. They cost about £50 each. And then you can get the ones up to like if you look at Finfolk Productions, they make incredible ones at about $400, but they look like performance tails. Then silicone tails look and feel like a real mermaid tail. They're really heavy and they feel like dolphin skin. And the amount of times I've been taking it through an airport and they've opened my bag and been like, what's that?
I can imagine. What's really funny is that you said it looks and feels like a real mermaid tail.
Yeah, like a real one, like the real mermaids.
And the reason why I'm laughing at that, I am notorious for getting into Facebook fights.
Okay.
I call people the C word like on a regular. But that's a whole
watch out for you on my Facebook.
It's my favorite word. I'm sorry. I think I'm probably Australian. Anyway, I got into a Facebook fight and I used you as a defense. Yes.
What was this fight?
So it was a Facebook post about normalizing little boys playing as fairy princesses.
Okay.
And somebody posted something, and it was a woman who posted something about, well, I wanted to be a fairy princess when I was a kid, but thank God my mother told me that wasn't possible. And I posted back, I'm interviewing a professional mermaid tomorrow on my podcast. And then I thought about it, and I actually do know someone who is a professional fairy princess.
Yeah.
And that's what she does for a living. And she runs a successful fairy business. So we literally live in a time where you can be whatever the hell you want, which is one of the coolest things I've ever thought of in my life. And as a little girl, I always thought, well, first of all, I thought mermaids were real. And I always wanted to meet one. And now I have.
Now you have.
And
Yeah, I love that. I love it when kids come to my mermaid lessons and then they're like, I want to be a mermaid when I grow up. And the parents like, needs to study at school. And I'm like, you can just be a mermaid.
Yeah, you can be a mermaid. So
you can do that.
Yeah. So anybody who's watching who has kids who say, you know, I want to be a fairy princess, I want to be they actually can.
Yeah.
They just have to figure out a way to monetize it.
Yeah, exactly. Like being a mermaid has taken me around the world. It's been amazing.
So where all has it taken you?
So I worked in Mallorca and then I take my tales. I did a travel company job, which was actually with American teenagers and taking them around Europe. And I was like the mermaid of so I was a tour guide, but I was the tour guide who was a mermaid and I let them all become mermaids when we were in like Greece and France and things. Mm-hmm. Then I took my tales traveling around Southeast Asia and I turned everyone I met into mermaids and I got like free hostel stays and things in exchange for mermaid lessons. It was great.
That is the coolest thing. I swear to God, I love you. That is literally the coolest thing I've ever heard. I exchanged mermaid lessons for hostel stays.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant. I knew I would love you. So I want to ask, where is Doncaster in relationship to London? Because I know that I'm horrible with geography because the American school system is shit. And even though I'm an Anglophile and I've been to England 3 times, my bearings get all twisted when I'm there and I don't know where things are in relationship to other things. So where is Doncaster in relationship to London?
So have you only been to London?
I've been to London, Poole, where else have I been? See, I can never pronounce the things.
Chester or Chichester?
No, Chiltern, is that right?
Cheltenham? Yeah, Cheltenham.
It's near Bath, kind of.
Yeah.
Sort of? Yes, there. I've been there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like I've been like all around. Like I went. So the last time I went was, excuse me, I just forgot a trip. The second to last time I went for my 50th birthday by myself for 10 days.
Oh, amazing!
Holy crap! I had so much fun.
I bet.
And I think I drank England dry. But
that would be impressive.
This is how I met people and made friends.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's the only way to make friends in England.
I went into a pub at 3:30 in the afternoon. There's no one there. And there shouldn't be. It's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But a regular came into the pub and I literally had told the bartender, give me one of every kind of cider that you have. And there were 17.
Oh my God.
And this regular who came in, he came in just as I was saying this. And he was like, you can't drink that. And I was like, all right. Well, after I finished all 17, and I bought him one of everything I drank. So, because he said I could not drink him. Well, I did. So I feel I am an official Brit.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm official Brit because I have cider in my veins.
Yeah.
And seriously, I love it there. But I want to get away from me. I'm sorry, because I will babble about myself all day long, and that's not what people are here to hear about. They're here to hear about you. So I also saw, was that painting that's on your Facebook page? Did you paint that?
The one of the like woman body.
Yes.
No, that's my sister's painting. So my sister is an incredible artist. She painted that.
Okay, well, talk about her, because I mean, that's one of the things that this network, Not Safe Media, is about. It's about promoting the little guy.
Yeah, I mean, totally. She's an independent artist. She's been painting since I can remember. She's always been amazing, very naturally. And then the last, I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago. Oh no, not this year. This year doesn't count. 2 years ago, she quit her job and set up being an artist and taking commissions and things like that. And she set up a company called Pub Painting. Well, she's called Right Art Studio, and she does pub painting. So people come into the pub on her events, they drink, because English love to drink. We drink, and she talks you step by step through a canvas painting. And it's amazing the ones people come out with. Like, people go in thinking they can't paint, and they come out with this amazing canvas. Yeah, that's what she does at the minute. But she takes commissions. She just kind of does her own thing. Yeah, she's really cool.
That's really cool. There's a phenomenon here in the States right now called paint and sip, which is kind of the same thing. But I think it's a little less personal than hers would be. What's her name?
Rebecca Wright.
Rebecca Wright. Okay, everybody. And we're going to plug her at the end of the show, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. You should love that.
Yeah, that's like the coolest thing ever. But I love the fact that painting that was on your Facebook page was a painting talking about body image and body positivity for women, which we have a really hard time with. I think everyone does, from J-Lo to, I mean, I think honestly, the most beautiful woman on the planet finds something about herself horrifying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I love the fact that image is about body positivity. And how do you handle that with the kids that you deal with and the mermaid? I mean, first of all, before you answer that question, you're perfect.
Thank you.
Costume. You are absolutely perfect, and I hate you.
I'm far from it.
But how do you talk to the kids that you're dealing with about body image and body positivity?
Yeah, this is an interesting one for me, because I suffered with an eating disorder when I was younger. And it wasn't until I had properly recovered about 3 years ago. So this was about 2 years into mermaiding, and that was quite a big thing for me, obviously being in a bikini all the time, to go through recovery whilst performing. Yeah, but that kind of took me on a whole other journey with how I kind of approached it with kids. Because it wasn't that I would have never been like encouraging people, but I had people make comments about me when I was ill, saying like, oh, you're too skinny and stuff like that. And I didn't want to give that image across to kids. So it was a massive like part of my recovery that I needed to look healthy so that kids wouldn't think they should aspire to look like what I look like.
Well, they can aspire to look like you look like, because again, you are perfect.
Thank you. But I mean that I didn't want people to feel pressured to maintain a body that I couldn't maintain.
No, I totally
understand.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So now I push the body positivity. But often parents will say things to the kids. They'll tell them to suck the stomachs in photos and stuff like that. And I'm always like, no, you're absolutely perfect as you are. You look amazing in that tail. And I'm very much like so forward with it.
Now there's a huge difference, at least from my perspective, that I've seen every time I've gone to the UK and whenever I'm watching some British TV show or movie that's, British centric. Mm-hmm. America seems to be much more focused on outward aesthetics than the UK. Would you agree? Or Do you notice that?
That's an interesting one, because I work in TV. I've been an actress since being about 12, and I would say that every part I've played, I've been made to look not nice.
Okay, well, I missed that part. So what have you been in?
So I've been in a British teen show that actually Americans might have watched. It's called My Mad Fat Diary, and it was a very popular show in England, and I was one of the lead characters in that. But if you watched it, you wouldn't recognize me. So I would definitely, and that show in particular for body positivity is an incredible show.
And what's it called again? My Mad Fat
Diary. You should definitely check it out.
No, I'm writing it down now because I'm going to find it.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's on Hulu in America. Is that Hulu a thing?
Yeah, you know what? I just bought Hulu yesterday.
Oh, okay, perfect.
They've got a $1.99 sale going on. So yeah, I just bought it because I'm cheap as fuck. I'm sorry, I love you, but I gotta discount the shit. But I will watch it. So what exactly is the show about?
So the show is about a girl who's 16 living in Lincolnshire, which is not far from where I live. And also, if you ever come to England, you have to come visit me in Yorkshire because you'll love it.
Oh, we forgot. We'll go back to the show. But where are you toward in relationship to England? I'm sorry, I cut you off when you were.
No, it's okay. I'm in Doncaster in Yorkshire, so it takes me an hour and a half on the train to London. It's about a 3-hour drive.
Okay, and where are you? North, south, east, or west from London?
North.
Okay, that's the one place I didn't go.
Yeah, you're missing out. You need to come to the north. The north's the fun part.
You're gonna hook me up?
Yeah, absolutely. You can come be a mermaid.
Oh. You just broke my brain for a second.
Yeah, when COVID's over, come over. You can come stay with me and be a mermaid. It'll be fun.
I so am gonna fucking do that.
Yeah, do it. It'll be great time.
Okay. You have just probably made my husband really happy.
Why?
Well, because I've wanted to swim with the sharks, and he doesn't want me to.
Okay.
But I can maybe fulfill what I'm going for with swimming with the sharks with being a mermaid. Maybe,
yeah.
Possibly. That could be cool.
Yeah, it'd be so fun.
I'm sorry. I went away for a minute. That happened. So, back to what we were talking about before. And what were we talking about before?
We were talking about the show.
Yes, I'm sorry. See, I go away. This is Into the Abyss. We drink, we smoke, we fall into the abyss. We lose our minds, we come back. All right, the TV show that you were on, which is My Mad Fat Diaries.
Yeah, my Mad Fat Diary is a show set in Lincolnshire. It's about a 16-year-old girl who is overweight, struggles at school with like friends and stuff, and she's just come out of a residential stay at a hospital because she has a breakdown.
Oh, so this is heavy.
It's heavy. It's a comedy. It's a comedy, but it's
triggering. Yes.
Yes, definitely trigger warnings. I play a character with anorexia in the hospital, but she comes out and she meets her old friends, but she's not seen them in a long time, and she meets a boy, and there's a great like Britpop soundtrack, and it's a really good show. You'll enjoy it. It's funny. It's sad. It's very. I mean, it was 10 years ago when we filmed it, and I looked on the TikTok hashtag the other day, and there's something like 9 million hits on it. Wow. So it's still very, very relevant today. I didn't even realize that people are still watching it.
I got me a famous guest, and I didn't even know. So, have you been on anything else?
Yeah, I've been doing TV for quite a while, so I'm trying to think of anything else that will interest your viewers.
Throw it all out there because God knows who's watching at the moment. So, I mean, this network is so weird. And so, again, it's mainly Zoomers.
Yeah.
And millennials, which you're a millennial. You're a young millennial. So it's mostly Zoomer, young millennials. I'm the only old Gen Xer here that's like, and I'm married to a millennial.
Okay.
Yeah, so like so just throw it out there, and if somebody's interested, they'll find it. I throw anything out there because I want people to find things that they didn't even know that they were missing.
Yeah. Okay. I did a great film that's came out this year called Tales from the Lodge, and it's a horror comedy. It's a bit Shaun of the Dead style. So that's good. That's available on Amazon Prime. I don't know if you can get it in America.
What's it called?
It's called Tales from the Lodge.
Tales from the Lodge?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm executive producer on a film which comes out next year, hopefully. And that's called The Drowning of Arthur Braxton.
Okay, you and I are going to talk more.
I hate being bored, so I'm constantly doing all these weird things and traveling around the world, and just I can't stand being bored.
No, that's awesome. And I actually have the guy that I told you about in the pub in England. He and I are still friends.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he and I are still friends, and he has that British I forget the word I'm looking for, but that where you can find stuff online to bootleg watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has the one for Britain for the UK. So if he can hook me up, so if I can't find it here, I can officially watch it legally somehow through my friend in England.
Totally legally, totally.
Yeah, legally somehow, maybe. Anyway. But okay, so you talked about having an eating disorder. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to throw something out there at you, and you find and this is kind of serious but kind of funny maybe. So if you find it offensive, please be honest and tell me.
Okay.
Okay. Because I wanted to do, back when I was doing stand-up, I wanted to do a bit about anorexia, bulimia, and just body dysmorphia.
Okay.
I wanted to be empowering, but I also wanted to be silly and funny. So I wrote a joke, and I'm not going to tell the whole joke, but I will give you the gist. And I was told that I shouldn't do it. But I was told that by a cis old male who I didn't trust his instincts, but I still didn't do it because I was afraid I might piss somebody off or hurt somebody's feelings, whatever. So I have you here. I'm going to ask you. I'm sorry for everyone who came here to hear all about Sophie. We will talk to her more about this, but I really want to know this from somebody who's dealt with eating disorders. I want to do a bit talking about, if you really want something done, you should get an anorexic because they have wills of iron.
Yeah, it's so true.
Okay, see, I thought that was funny and empowering, and I got yelled at.
I mean, I find it funny because I don't know, like when I was suffering with it, the other people around me who were also suffering with it, we joke about it all the time. Yeah, so
the strength it takes to not eat.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even a foodie. Like, food is not, like, I eat because I have to. If I didn't have to eat, I wouldn't. But I can't imagine the absolute willpower it takes to look at food for days at a time and just go, nope.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing. Like, now I'm recovered, I'm like, I don't know where that came from. I don't know how I had that willpower. I wish I could put that into something useful.
Right, and don't get me wrong. I realize that it's a disorder, and I realize that it's not healthy.
Yeah,
I realize that, but I also realize that in becoming an anorexic and a bulimic, but anorexics is harder, in my opinion. when you're doing it, you're trying to assert control over your life, right?
Yeah, I think it's the part where it's a sickness in your mind. So your mind, you don't really have control over. This is what I think a lot of people get confused about with it, is that it feels like a control issue, but the fact is that you are actually completely out of control.
No, I get that. No, I
You
totally
don't get
get that. But I think it still is a form of trying. There go my dogs. A form of trying to get control over your existence when you feel like you have no control.
Yeah.
It's a very unhealthy way of asserting control over your life, but it is still a way to assert control when you feel helpless and out of control, and it's like it's the one thing that you have power over.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Misguided. It's totally misguided. And okay, I'm going to sound like I'm being superficial, but I'm not trying to be. When I got pregnant with my oldest, I gained, well, actually, when I got pregnant with both kids, I gained 60 pounds with both kids. So I went from 115 to 176. And I freaked because I had no control. So Ren, pull me back. Ren, can you pull me back? So I became obsessed with the only thing that I had control with at the time, my eyebrows.
Okay.
Which sounds ridiculous, but the way that my eyebrows are right now, I haven't drawn on them. I haven't done anything. I plucked them. I used to have Ariana from Game of Thrones eyebrows.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Those big ass thick, back in my day, they were called Brooke Shield eyebrows. And I had these big thick eyebrows, and I had no control. I mean, I had this alien inside me, and my body was doing all these things, and I couldn't do anything about it, and it was freaking me the fuck out. So I became obsessed with plucking my eyebrows. I decided on this shape. I did this until now. I don't have to do anything. I don't touch them. This is how they grow. And I think, at least this is the way I've always thought about it, and I could be completely wrong, but I've always thought, listening to people who have anorexia and bulimia, that when they're trying to assert control, they think that if they get it exactly the way that they see it in their own minds, then their life will be better because they will be perfect in their minds. But that body dysmorphia gets so twisted that you never get to that, this is where I want to be. And so the cycle just never stops. Am I?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, you have like a goal, and then you reach that goal, then you get a new goal, and it just goes on and on and on, because you are never you can never satisfy the anorexia.
Yeah. So I'm not off.
No.
Okay, because that's, again, I don't know anyone. You're the first person I've ever met who's said to me that they've had an eating disorder. I'm sure I've known millions of people, but you're the first person who said it to me. So I've never been able to ask questions. And so then here's my other question. Do you mind people asking questions about it? Since you're past it now.
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. It took a while for me to publicly talk about it. So it was about 2 years ago, I made a post publicly and explained that I'd been ill and that I was recovering. And I kind of wanted to open that conversation, because I think there's so many people who struggle with eating disorder issues. I was very lucky because I wouldn't say lucky, but I fit the demographic to get help.
No, that is lucky. And I don't mean to be a bitch.
No, but
If okay,
I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know
if it was me, I might not have gotten the same help as you would.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was a very skinny young white girl, so I was very much like the demographic that is easily helped, whilst other people, if they don't reach that, then doctors ignore them. If they're not really skinny, they're just like, oh no, you're all right.
No, I totally agree. And that's the other thing too, is that people don't realize that there are anorexics out there that don't look like Holocaust victims.
Exactly. And there's a lot more people suffering with eating disorders than people even realize. I think a lot of people who have an eating disorder don't even realize themselves that they have an eating disorder. It's normalized in the media and it's normalized on social media. Like with, I don't know, like fasting and things like that can become so unhealthy so quickly. Orthorexia as well with fitness is a massive problem. And it's almost celebrated.
The overworking out, holy crap. And
yeah,
nobody talks about that, the over exercising.
Yeah, well that's what I started with. I just was on a fitness journey. I wanted to get really fit. And then that wasn't working enough. So then my eating stopped. And it was just a downward spiral. But I think there's so much of this on social media with these like Fitstagrams and stuff like that. And it's just I think a dangerous place to be.
I totally agree. And I want to thank your generation. And I want to also thank Gen Zers for being so different and much more aware than my generation, which is Gen X, or the older generations, about that, and about the fact that beauty is not one thing. And like, you struggled with your issues, and I'm looking at you and I can't imagine you ever not realizing how gorgeous you are. Like, my brain doesn't compute that on one level, but on another level, I totally understand. Because society pushes this unattainable definition of beauty that your generation and younger generations have finally said, fuck you, stop it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I am so grateful for me personally, because you guys have made thick in. And I am so happy about that in my menopause fat ass way. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about too is, when you're giving mermaid lessons, you're not just giving mermaid lessons to girls, correct?
Oh no, girls and boys.
So how has that been, giving mermaid lessons to boys? And I don't mean to the boys themselves, but I think the issue would really more likely be boys' parents.
Well, with what I do is that obviously the kids book in. So I've never had an issue with the boys' parents not being supportive of the boys wanting to be a mermaid, because they've obviously booked it for the child.
Okay.
So I've never really had that issue. And they're great at being mermen. They're fantastic.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. Because I thought about that, and that worried me. And to bring that to another thing that you brought up behind the scenes, what did you call them? Merberts?
Merberts. You have to Urban Dictionary this one, a lot of people. But this is a problem that a lot of mermaids have, when we get people who overly fetishize, I don't know how to say that. Mermaids to the point where it's like harassment. like people like mermaids, that's fine. Like mermaids are pretty. But when you get it to the point where people are like we've had issues where people have tried to book like private parties, but then told you can't bring anyone and stuff like that. Not so much me. I've only had one encounter with a particularly bad one. But yeah, it's a hard world for a lot of mermaids. The ones who are very high up, especially, they get things a lot.
That's such a weird thing to have to think about. But now that I'm thinking about it, when I posted in several different places that I was having a professional mermaid on, I saw things like, how do mermaids have sex? How do mermaids poop?
Yeah.
How do mermaids have babies? Which are all honestly legitimate questions if mermaids really existed. They are like I often ask about zombies. Rigor mortis sets in. How come there aren't zombies running around with hard-ons? There should be. And do zombies poop? Why don't they poop? Why don't we see them? So those are legitimate questions about mermaids if they existed. But here's the thing. You're not a real mermaid. So I can't even imagine what you have to field from knuckleheads.
Yeah, I mean, my worst stuff was when I was working in, which American viewers won't really know this place, but it's a place called Magaluf. And it's probably the equivalent of, do you know, like in America where loads of people would go on spring break and it's just a bit gross?
Okay, so that would be Daytona Beach. And when I was a kid, it was the Strip on Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. So yeah, so Magaluf is like just full of bars where people go on like lads' holidays, girls' holidays. So I was working there in a pool bar, so a bar with a swimming pool in it. And I would just get boys on lads' holidays coming up to me, asking me those kind of questions, like how does a mermaid have sex and stuff like that.
Okay, that begs the question, how did they know you were a mermaid?
I was a mermaid there. I was in the pool.
Okay. See, when you told that story, I saw you sitting in a bar and just random guys coming up to you asking. And then when you said that, I saw you sitting in a bar dressed like a mermaid, which made it even weirder. You know what? That is a question that just popped into my head. When you have the tail on, how the hell do you get around on dry land?
So I tend to have mermaid, depending on what it is. So if it's like a private party with the kids, I will be in the pool before the kids arrive. So I get the tail on in the pool. And I always have someone with me, like it's normally my sister, who helps me get into the tail and everything. But on the mermaid shows, when I've done that, I've had like a group of pirates who are also in the show, and they just pick me up and carry me.
I love you so much. You say sentences that are just that just warm my heart. Seriously, I have a group of pirates. I love you. I love you. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. I mean, I've been in love with mermaids since I was little, and the book, The Little Mermaid. Did you read that when you were a kid?
I saw the movie. Well, movies. What?
You've ever read the book?
No, I didn't really realize it was a book. I thought it was just Disney films.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I'm a terrible mermaid.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm 8,000 years old. That was a book.
Okay.
That was probably old when I was little, 50 some odd years ago, called The Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, of course, because that's what the statue must be based on.
Okay. Okay, I'm fighting you now.
I mean, I get it now. I must have known there was a book. I just didn't.
Yeah,
Didn't really know there was a book.
The statue is the statue. Could you please explain the statue while I try to like regroup?
So the statue it's in Copenhagen, isn't it? It's not actually based on Disney's Ariel. No.
It's based on the book. The book from when I was little.
I'll read it.
Thank you. Good God, it just made me feel 1,000 years old. I mean, I am 1,000 years old, but fuck. Really, Sophia? Or Sophie? I'm sorry. I want to call you Sophia, but it's Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sophie.
My Spanish mermaid name is Serenia Sofia. So when I'm in Spain, I go by that.
Oh, no, that's very cool. I like that. No, you're forgiven now for a minute. You're making me feel 1,000 years old. Good fucking God. Anyway, completely changing topics. So you were in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the US. And both of our country's politics are shit.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Yeah, it's been a time.
So our current president is orange, and yours has clown hair.
He does. Could do with a haircut.
How are you doing with Brexit and all of that?
I mean, like right now we're in lockdown again. So like at least it's doing something. We come out of it into tier 3, which is basically lockdown but with a different name. So we stay in lockdown for a little more longer. But I think there's a vaccine coming. Trying, but who knows?
I love you. Oh my God, I love you. You're like channeling my brain. And then I don't have to say anything. Just let Sophie talk and she will just say what I'm thinking. Because good God, right now, well, first of all, if I could go anywhere right now, it would be the UK just because I love it. Because even though you guys are very, and I'm being very general when I say this, as countrymen or country people as a whole, you're very reserved.
Mm-hmm.
On first meeting. But if you make friends with a Brit, holy crap, you guys are nuts. And foul, which I love. And come up. You are third best at coming up with curse insults.
Okay.
And I say third best because the Aussies are the best.
Oh, yeah. I'm not offended when an Australian says something rude to me.
Scots are next.
Yeah.
The only problem with Scots, and the reason why Scots aren't number 1 on my list, is because most of the time, unless you're a Scot, you don't know what the fuck what's being said to you. Oh no, we lost Sophie. We lost Sophie in cursing cursing talk. Oh good God. So Ren, come here, please. Ren. Please? No? Okay. I was going to bring you in to talk about being mythical creatures since we're going to close out soon. But okay. I'm not exactly sure what to do now since Sophie's kind of out there. So, well, we've only got 10 minutes left, so that's okay. We will do plugs. I'm terrible at doing plugs, so I apologize to everybody. But if you're here and you're watching, please help independent podcasters. If you want to help us out, if you want to help us get better at podcasting, if you want to help us out with different shows. If you're looking to help independent media, please give to one of, oh, Sophie's back. Please give to one of the ats that are scrolling on your screen. Either you can give to me, you can give to Grav's podcast, which is Grav's podcast is Sentai Truther Club. You can give to @Grav by himself. You can give to Patreon Into the Abyss. If you're liking this show and you're wanting to help this show in particular, you can give to Not Safe Media to help all the shows on the platform. And when I say all the shows on the platform, we're talking Ungirl, Not Safe for Wonk's weekly show, the Hot Girl Agenda, Sentai Truther Club, Minecraft Mondays, Gay Space Communism, which is really freaking cool, and I'm on a regular, which is basically talking about communism via Star Trek, which, hello, Trekkie, yeah. And also A Time of Monsters, which is the podcast for Aaron, our comrade who was recently in a car accident, a very severe car accident. I believe he's still in the hospital with a punctured lung, several broken ribs, and some other things. If you go to his Patreon, please give to him because he's in the hospital. We don't know how long he's going to be there. And then we finally have Sophie back. So Sophie, if you have anything that you would like to plug, including your sister, please do.
Yeah, so if you could follow Wright Art Studio on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram is Sophie_Wright95. If you want to drop a follow to that, and you can keep up with everything that I'm up to. I post all my travel pictures and my mermaid pictures. And yeah, it'd be nice to talk to you.
Awesome. And Ren, please, just for a second, okay? And then we're going to close out. So I'm asking Ren, and I'm pushing Ren to do something that they don't want to do. And I apologize, but we talked about it earlier. And if they don't do it, it's fine. But I want to say, Sophie, thank you so much for doing this. This has been amazing. And don't ever say something to me that you don't really mean. You, on air, invited me to come visit. I will come visit you.
I'll really come. It'll be a great time.
I absolutely will come visit your ass. And I can prove this when we're off the show. I will, if you don't believe me, I will link you to the guy that I told you that I met my 50th birthday 3 years ago, who we are still friends on Facebook.
I love that.
And and what was really cool about that was he didn't believe me when we met. And, you know, we hung out for like 3 different nights in a row. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. But I kept telling him, I'll be back. I'll be back. You know, I'm just some random woman who just showed up in this pub. And I was like, I'll be back. And he was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I was like, Facebook friend, we'll stay friends. I'll be back. I came back and brought my husband, and my husband loves him. He loves my husband. I mean, if you tell me something, I'm that weirdo who will take you literally and show up.
I love it. Yeah, come. Absolutely.
Don't invite me anywhere if you don't want me to show up. And I'm going to do, and I know this is supposed to be all about Sophie, but it's also fun and silly and Into the Abyss. And we've been talking to a mermaid, which is a mythical creature, all night long. So in honor of you, Sophie, I bought something. I bought something because I have been told on a regular that I am a mythical creature too. So in honor of you, Sophie, I am a unicorn.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's so cute. That looks so fluffy.
Can you see my horn?
You can stab people.
Actually, I've stabbed myself. It's kind of difficult to try to pee in this thing. Okay. I'm sorry. So now that I've made a complete ass of myself, I do need to plug what we're doing next week. So next week we're going to be on our regular time, and we have Emmett FURROW, who is an actor, comedian, and a spokesperson for CCD Smiles. And if you don't know what CCD Smiles is, you might want to check out the show Stranger Things, because as you can see in this picture, you will see the character Dustin from Stranger Things. The actor's real name is, if I get this wrong, I apologize, but his real name is Gaten Matarazzo, and he talks about CCD in several episodes of Stranger Things. He actually has the genetic disorder, and so does my friend Emmett. So Emmett will be on next week to talk about acting and comedy and to promote CCD Smiles and everything that goes with it. And we may, fingers crossed, have Gaten. Maybe not. But if not, it's cool. Because what we do here on Into the Abyss is we take all week's shit, all week's political shit, and we push it away. We push it out of our minds. We're here to devolve, into the abyss of silliness at the end of the week. That's what we do here. Do you think we've done it today, Sophie?
I would say so. Absolutely. Except for, I'm sorry when my computer died, but
that fits perfectly. I have been doing this show. This is the first time I've done it by myself. So thank you for popping my cherry.
Oh, you're fantastic.
And you said that this was your first time on a podcast?
Yeah.
So we do a lot of dual cherry popping on this show, which is cool. It's consensual cherry popping.
Consensual, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, consensual is the big key here, because again, I am the bridge between millennials, Zoomers, Gen Xers, and Boomers. And as the Gen X bridge, everything that crosses this bridge is consensual. Or we try to make it that way.
Yeah.
And when we upset people, or when things aren't like good for other people, we take a step back. It's okay. We don't feel the need. Let me rephrase that. I have an ego, and this show is literally watching me try to lose it while promoting other people. I've not gotten there yet. So anybody who's bitching that I talk too much about myself, sorry, learning. But while I'm learning, I'm trying to promote other people like Sophie Wright, the professional mermaid, who, and your business is Mermaid Parties? Is that the name?
Mermaid Parties.
Mermaid Parties. Yes. Yes, Sonia. Unicorns and mermaids rock. And that's pretty much Into the Abyss.
Yay.
Have a great night, everybody.